Stocchi, dear Dean, dear colleagues, dear friends. It's a real honor for me today to attend this international conference that represents a unique opportunity to put together outstanding intellectuals around the world to confront each other on some of the most actual and burning topics, relevant not only for the academia, but much wider for the social context and communities that we represent here today. The honor is even greater for me when I am called to deliver one of the opening addresses of the conference. Opening speeches are of crucial importance as they set the framework of the discussion that is to follow, and yet they play two opposite risks, either to be too general and rhetoric and therefore inevitably redundant, or to be too specific and therefore at best interesting for a limited audience. As a biochemist, I am by definition interested in details, most of which cannot be seen by a naked eye. I spent my life conducting research on small and not invisible things like proteins, metabolic pathways, or DNA. And yet, I cannot avoid to think that I've been invited today at this opening speech in my role of a university rector, namely as somebody that has been and is involved in the complex governance of an important top-ranked higher education institution. Therefore, dear colleagues and friends, allow me to make a couple of general considerations regarding the central issue on what should be the role of universities in facilitating international cooperation in such unpredictable times. I call them unpredictable, as we see different contradictory elements often coexisting and constantly readapting to each other. In the case of cooperation with Russia, we record two opposite trends that apparently are difficult to combine. In science and higher education, we see a progressive harmonization of educational standards through the adoption of the Bologna process and the extensive exchange of know-how flows, which probably represents one of the best consequences of the globalization era we are living in. On the other side, in politics and international relations, however, we are facing times where Russia has been openly isolated in most of the so-called Western world, and a consequence of the sanction regime introduced under the outbreak of the recent Ukrainian crisis. Although academia is by definition, or should be, observing politics but not participating in it, this situation that some have called of a new Cold War is often an elephant in the room that has even just unconsciously conditioned our relation and common projects in recent times. Therefore, the title of this conference could not be more appropriate in approaching the question of Russia in the globalized world. The main challenge that we have to approach here is how we, as universities and higher education institutions, can not only limit the damages of the current situation of the isolation, but actually boost the cooperation with Russia. In this regard, I would like to formulate three propositions, one political, one technical, and one scientific. From a scientific point of view, the main roadmap of international inter-university cooperation should foresee the intensification of multidisciplinary researches in the field of global studies. Global studies do represent a perfect cross-cutting field of scientific exchange and, in my view, the future of our common elaboration and of an integrated approach to scientific research. Too often, there has been a prejudice that globalistics should only be limited to humanistic and social studies, a sort of empowered field for super international relation studies. It is my firm conviction, on the other side, that thinking and researching global should include in particular natural sciences and their capacity to explore the details in a time in which the world needs to elaborate protocols of understanding and connection with the micro and micro dimensions. In this effort, Russia can play a key role, as it is by definition a country thinking big, with an outstanding experience in natural science research. The second field of inter-university cooperation is referred, as I have anticipated, to a technical dimension, namely to the important redefinition and constant update of the academic ranking systems. Born initially as needed and useful systems to measure and compare the performance and organizational effectiveness of higher education institutions, the ranking system had to often become arbitrary instruments of promotion for those who have set the ranking rules themselves. Russia, like Italy, has often been penalized by this system that pay too little attention to the quality of research in their performance